And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. It is Wednesday. I'll let Odie give you the exact name of that coming up at 7 o'clock. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. We've had a long night throughout the Meridian area. We'll have details of what's going on in these early morning hours. We've had another murder. We'll give you the details of that coming up at 7 o'clock. I hope you'll join us with that. I urge each and of you, as you're making your way to Pete, to have extreme caution over the next 2 to 3 days. Normally when something like this happens, more follows. We'll get deep into that beginning at 7 o'clock this morning. Won't you join us for the morning show? We'd appreciate it. Right now, 73. It's going to be warm. 97 is the temperature, but hold on to your hats. 103 on that heat index side with a heat advisory in effect through 7 p.m. tonight. So it's going to be hot. It'll be warm. It'll be almost as if you can't get your breath throughout today. Hot weather is in store all across Mississippi, Alabama, so something to think on there as we get our day together there. Let's see. We are already a few minutes into the 6 o'clock show. We'll be right back in a moment. We're going to get a good word for the day. Let's go to Collinsville, see what Brother Ben has to say.
If you've listened to this segment at all over the last few months, you've heard a lot about the Apostle Paul, the writer of around half the New Testament. You've heard us say the Apostle Paul says this, or the Apostle Paul says that. Well, in today's scripture, Philippians 3, 4 through 7, Paul tells us a little bit about himself. Listen to this. He says, if anyone else thinks he has grounds for confidence in the flesh, I have more. Circumcised on the 8th day, of the nation of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew born of Hebrews, regarding the law of...
Now, when I was growing up, I thought I was really good at basketball. And to be honest, I was one of the best at Richardsville Elementary School. I was Big Ben, taller and stronger than all of my competition. I dominated my league and even took my team to the championship. I went on to make the middle school basketball team and became a starter. Again, I was one of the best in my district, and even as a 7th grader, I played up some with the 8th grade. But my eyes were opened when my school team entered a 14U AAU basketball tournament just north of Cincinnati, Ohio. You see, in that tournament, I saw boys my age dunking the ball. I mean, they were crazy athletic and just on another level. I remember one of the guys, he was a 14-year-old. He even had a full beard. I mean, I was a boy playing among what looked like men. And that's when I realized in the presence of something greater than that I wasn't as great as I thought I was. You know, Paul had a similar experience with Jesus Christ. There were some things that he treasured that he thought were extremely beautiful and highly valuable. That is until he came into the presence of Jesus. And suddenly those things faded in his mind, right? He realized those things were trash compared to Jesus. Jesus was far more valuable, far more beautiful. And he was willing to leave it all behind to have the better option of Jesus. Here's what he said in Philippians 3:8. He said, more than that, I count all things to be loss because of the surpassing value of knowing Christ Jesus, my Lord, for whom I've suffered the loss of all things and count them but rubbish so that I may gain Christ. Friend, have you come to that realization? Have you come to understand the surpassing value of knowing Jesus Christ? If not, I promise you, whatever you're holding on to, instead, it doesn't compare. Look to Christ and let it go. He is greater than you can even imagine. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that message. We got off to the wrong start there. A little blurry this morning as we begin today. More coffee is in store as we recover from an all-nighter of covering headlines throughout the area. This is probably not going to be good news as we take you on these headlines that are shaping America. Fox News reporting this morning, this guy is backed by AOC. Let me show you this. This is the guy there. He is calling it a victory. I can't pronounce his name, so we'll call him Zohan. I'm pretty close to that, somewhere around it. Democrat leader in the primary there in New York City as he is running for mayor. Strong chance he'll end up winning the mayor's election there, taking it even more liberal than it is. If you don't believe me, do a little research on this man and see where New York is headed. It will be very, very different should he win. odds are in his favor at this point. As we look at what's happened in Iran since the war between the 12-day war in between Iran and Israel, 28 people lost their lives. 3,000 people were wounded during that short time there. Hopefully this ceasefire continues and no other will happen. The father of the 3 kids that were murdered, that they've been on the lookout for in Washington State, authorities are saying at this point they have no proof that he is still alive. My question is, do they have proof otherwise that he's not? Fair question, I think, but they've had no activity, and basically they've run out of places to look, it sounds like. They have not found him. We'll see what happens. Usually, if that is true, within a month or so, someone finds something. As we look to everything else that is happening today, let's see here. U.S. Marshals led an operation. This is good. The good guys won on this as 60 children were recovered that were missing as they done raids, and they went throughout Florida. 60 people returned children that were either kidnapped or in some place they shouldn't have been. That's wonderful. We have a Marine that is being convicted. He is in Japan. He's going to spend the next 7 years in prison for a rape. He says he didn't do it. The court says he did. 7 years he's been sentenced. As if y'all remember, I've never seen anything quite like this. Do you remember the young man that was killed at the track meet? This was, a few months ago. The person that was accused of killing him got a GoFundMe, and I forget how many, maybe it was $1 million. I don't remember. It was a lot that was raised for him. And they were saying he was innocent. He was innocent. A grand jury says it's enough to go to court. He's going to be charged. We'll see what happens after it goes to court. Again, I don't know all the details, and I wasn't there. But that was really backwards from what it usually is. We'll watch this case. We'll have this coming up more and more often with this and follow this. That young man lost his life. It's horrible. Life is what she got. As we go to California, a famous hairdresser. I don't know much about it, but his wife took him out. She was sentenced to spend the rest of her life in jail. Monica Simonelli. She's 53 years old. It was in April that she killed her husband. She's been convicted and will spend the rest of her life behind bars. I'm taking it from the comments that had something to do with money. This doesn't make sense. We had a man that was found safely. He'd been missing for 5 days. He said he fell out of a tree. The only thing that makes sense, he was lost trying to get back to a pathway and fell out of a tree. I'm assuming, and again, sometimes that makes a fool out of us, doesn't it, that he climbed the tree to see where he was. And at some point he fell, couldn't walk, and a passerby eventually heard the low, low sound of somebody yelling help. He has been rescued, and he'll be okay in the end. We have opened up the U.S. Embassy again in Jerusalem during the ceasefire. It is back to business there. As we go to, what are they calling it? The big, beautiful bill? Will it pass? We don't know, but we do know this. Trump has told them no vacation until they sit and figure it all out. Will they listen? I don't know. We'll see where that ends up after he goes there. A waterfall as we go to California, Northern California. I've never been much of just jumping in this. It was in a remote area. 3 people jumped into a waterfall near Lake Tahoe. They lost their lives. Know what you're getting into. A leap of faith is only as good as your knowledge. We see this. This is such a shame. 29 years old. Why would someone do it? We don't know the details of what pushed her to it. But a YouTube star named Scotty Ray Report has died by suicide, her husband says. It was an emotional video that they announced on Monday. Mental health struggles that she had. We do hate that. Condolences to her family there. Well, let me see what the vote was on this. I've got the number now. Each time Trump goes to office, they try to impeach. Green. I think y'all know who I'm talking about as we get into this. Al Green. It went to the floor. The vote was 344. 79 was the ones of the Democrats that chose to do that. They've lost. Life goes on. They didn't have the vote. Oh boy, this is getting ready to get really heated here. How many of you have been watching this Sean Puff Daddy court fiasco? I've read some things that even made Odie blush. It's weird. The defense has rested without calling any witnesses. They haven't released what day they will be telling what the jury does, but that is coming up there. They have rested. We'll watch this closely there. Sean will not testify. He moved for an acquittal there. They will return to the courtroom today for closing arguments, and all that's set for Thursday there. We'll see what becomes of this. That is definitely something that we'll want to know what happens with. Boy, that's just too strong. We'll just leave that out. Drone debris have been found in Ukraine, indicates Russia has been using new technology that Iran has developed. Ruh-roh. We knew they were tight. There was no secret there. We've got proof now as we look at these headlines this morning across America. Last night in Florida, number 7 it was, as they put to death a man that killed someone. It happened there in Florida. He was executed at around 6 o'clock last night at 6 p.m. Thomas Lee Gaddens, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, was pronounced deceased at 6:13 p.m. in the state prison there near Stark. He was convicted of a 1994 killing of Michelle McGrath. That is just awful. 1994 is when all that began. Tonight, another will happen. It will happen here in the great state of Mississippi, and we'll talk about this here in a little bit. We shared what the governor had to say, and most likely it begins sometime around 6. I don't have the exact time, but Mississippi's oldest death row inmate, he's 79 years old, will meet his maker tonight. It was 1976 that he kidnapped a banker's wife, would hold her for ransom. He got $25,000 and he executed her with a GSW to the back of the head. Tonight, it will go through. They fought this year after year after year and drug this out since 1976, nearly 50 years. It ends tonight, as the governor put. And again, we'll touch base on that again. That was one of our headline stories there from yesterday. Let's see. They've done some research on this and an airplane door that had flown off. We have to really watch this airplane disasters. My, oh, my, oh, my. It was a lot of people said it was Alaskan Airlines Flight 1282. It had a panel blow off. They have systematic failures, what they say, that made that break loose. Everybody survived, but that had to be scary to be on a plane that done that. The guy Daniel Park that was charged with aiding the Palm Springs Fertility Clinic, where they destroyed it with a loud bang, has died in federal custody. Amazing how things like that happen, isn't it? A jury has ordered a man to pay $500,000 for assaulting a police officer who later would take his own life after the Capitol riot, is the way they're wording it, or J6. $500,000. I don't know this name, and I'll have to rely on everybody that knows rock and roll music from the 1960s. I don't know as much about that as I do that country feel, but a guy named Bobby Sherman, anybody recognize him? He was a teen idol during the 60s and 70s, has died at the age of 81. I've tried to look at all of his songs, and I know nothing about him. I've never heard of the guy. But apparently at one time, the guy was big. We've got some guys that are returning to their normal job because they have to. FBI is returning agents to counterterrorism work, diverting them from immigration. They've got to get back to what they need to with everything that's going on overseas. I think that's the right decision to do that. Hugh Jackman, y'all have heard that name. He's an actor. He's getting a divorce after 27 years. And we don't know what caused it, but they've been having issues for about 3 years now. They're officially divorced. Here's a name that I do not know. He's supposed to be somebody famous. Dermot Mullery files for divorce from his wife. I'm trying to see what movie he was in. It was something they said that was big that, well, I'd never heard of. Yep, we're going to cast this down as we don't know him, but he's an actor, and him and his wife didn't work out after 15 years. Bless their hearts. Hate that happened to them. McDonald's and Krispy Kreme, it's not going to work. They had planned to do a joint adventure. It was brief, and it's over. They had expected to be nationwide to sell Krispy Kreme donuts by the end of the year. Didn't work. For whatever reason. And that does sound good, because I like those Krispy Kremes.
I'd like a sausage, egg, and cheese between two donuts.
That's sick. Odie's over here wanting sausage and egg between two donuts. Odie. That's, ooh. That makes my brain go,
That'd be good.
Although a McDonald's would be good now. One of those biscuits there. Now that you bring that up. Steve, wake up. Let's see here. I don't know the rest of that story on that. A federal judge has ruled that copyrighted books are fair use when it comes to AI training. That's a setback for those that wouldn't want that to happen. So it says you can. And what was this on Netflix? We have somebody that has been stalking Joe Rogan that has been arrested. Liver King. He threatened Joe. I don't know if Joe and Trump have worked out their differences just yet. Let's see. Steve said that Bobby Sherman had several hits. One of his biggest was Cried Like a Baby. Yep, don't know that one. Do you know that one, Odie?
No.
Cried Like a Baby. Nope, I don't know that one. Let's see. He also had Julie. I knew Louie.
Yeah.
Kind of close. Okay, maybe not. I was trying to really save the moment there, but whoa, we got to go. We'll be right back as we get this day underway. Your weather forecast is next. Already 6:47 this morning. A big morning to all those folks listening to us on WMOX radio as well. We'll be right back to get into this forecast. Some severe weather is possible. We'll tell you all about it.
We are at downtown Meridian at Meridian Shoe Factory on 22nd Avenue. They are having a one-time closeout sale on all their old inventory to make room for their new inventory. They have slashed their prices from $40 to $30 to even $20. And for every shoe you buy, your name gets put in the raffle to win a wonderful prize at the end of this month. Come see them Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and Saturday from 10 to 2.
Hi, this is Nick at Doc's Toyota, and we are excited to put you in a new Toyota today. We have no dealer markup, no hidden fees, no hassle, and our inventory is always priced to move. Our top-notch sales department and first-class service after the sale guarantees you a fast and comfortable buying experience like you've never had. So come see why month after month, more and more customers have chose to buy from Doc's Toyota. So come see us here at Doc's Toyota in Philadelphia at docstoyota.com or on Facebook. And remember, there's no deal like a Doc's deal.
Welcome back as we get into our forecast. So let's look at radar first as we get this day underway. As we pull this up, Doc's Toyota radar, everything that you see here that's in this peach color, that is a heat advisory. Now, this is going to be going on through 7 p.m. tonight. Expect it to be hot. We're expecting Meridian to be no less than 103. Could be warmer in other areas across the state. Now, let's look at our chance of severe weather that is rolling in from Mississippi and Alabama for today. And there is a slight chance there as we look at this. The Meridian area falling under a level 1. Now, again, we've got a 30% chance, mostly sunny skies for the most part. But as we go east, this will get bigger and bigger chances, as we'll see Selma, Alabama here, as we get to this Jackson line, Thomasville, Alabama, as we get near Centronelle, Bay Minette, Alabama, and then anywhere around Fort Walton Beach as you get into Santa Rosa, just past Gulf Shores will be a level 2 this afternoon. Y'all see that. Navarre, those areas there could see some serious storms, and this will go all the way up to Greensboro, Charlotte, Charleston, South Carolina will have some severe weather today. Now, let's go ahead and look at tomorrow. It also increases a little bit, bigger chances for us in our area tomorrow. It's a level 1, but as you'll see, this takes in a good portion of the state of Mississippi and all of Alabama that joins us here. This will take in Tupelo and these areas from Biloxi. Just Vicksburg, from Jackson to Vicksburg, doesn't fall under this, up to Greenville. So we've got Possibility of severe weather rolling in tomorrow as well. Small chance this afternoon late, and then again tomorrow. Again, our high today, 97, but that heat index is going to be a choker, 103, and that could still climb. I don't put it past that. That's that 4 a.m. forecast that they gave us, and sometimes they tweak that around 10 o'clock. So we'll watch that and see if anything becomes of that this morning. Let's get deeper into our forecast now.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA.
Those record highs, record lows back in 22, it was 104. We've had several days that 2022 broke that record, and it did again today. Back in 1974, I'm sure many of you can remember that. It was a cool 57 today. Back then, as we come across to see what else we've got happening today, we'll see that Alabama should see around 95 there in Demopolis. We'll see 98 in Tuscaloosa. That's going to be really close to Meridian. And as we got Birmingham at 96, Montgomery will clock in at 98 also. As we look here, dangerous heat throughout today. Again, that's through 7 o'clock. As we look at our threats here, this is what we looked at live on our radar for the state of Mississippi. And as we go to Bama, they've got that level 1, and that's been increased to a level 2 in portions of Bama. Now, as we move forward to look at that forecast as we come across this, look at that. Still warm here in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and up through the Carolinas. Extremely hot, above average there. Even southern Florida is warm as we look at that. Now, our 7-day forecast calling for 97 today, 73 for a low tonight. And again, it's only a 20% chance of those thunderstorms happening, but it could. They could tweak the forecast. We'll increase to a 40% chance of rain on Thursday and Friday, highs in the mid-90s again. As the weekend rolls in, a 50% chance on Saturday, increasing to a 60% Sunday, Monday, and then into a 70% chance on Tuesday. We could get wet. We're going to be watching this closely as this comes about for the week there. Still 90-degree weather each day there. As we make it to July 2nd, we'll drop down to 89 for a couple of days. Yeah, that's a big difference, isn't it? As we roll into July 4th, we should have a 30% chance of showers with a high of 91. Mostly sunny for the most part on July 4th. It should be a great turnout for the show at Bonita Lakes. Always is. I know Scott McQuaig will be there as we see that we've got back to work the weekend there, the 5th. We should see 92, 91 over the weekend, and then all the way through Wednesday about 91 there. Chances of scattered showers increase there around the 6th of July. Now let's look at our fishing forecast of what we got going on today. A calm wind becoming east around 5 miles an hour this afternoon. That's not bad. A major time to fish will be 12 noon today through about 2:30. Now, minor times will be after dark, 8:30 until 9:30. That's right there at that dark 30 line. We had some good fishing that began this morning at 5, and it's over now. We got mediocre fishing the rest of the day. As we look to sunrise, it happened at 5:49 today. You'll have sunshine all the way until 8:05. Brought to you by our good friends there at Clarkdale Superette. Now, up and coming, here's what we've got. This is moving away from us as we go to the National Hurricane Center. Andrea is off to the east, moving to the northeast, wind speed of about 40 miles an hour, gust at 52 miles an hour, moving to the northeast at 20 miles an hour. What that tells us is it's not going to be affecting the Gulf of America and won't be affecting that east coast either. So we're in good hands on all of that. As always, we'll watch those systems that approach the Gulf of America. We want us to be safe, don't we? Let's see, Steve. Good morning, Lisa. Morning. Good to see you there. Sandy is up. I have got up. I got about an hour's worth of sleep last night. I got to bed. I think it was about 11, and at 12:30ish, I had to get up, and off to the trenches we went. We'll tell you all about the adventures of roaming around last night through the streets of Meridian. It was pretty rough out there, and we'll tell you just where we are with everything. Coffee is a brewing. We got to get to it. Get yours. We'll be back in just a few moments, and we'll be live at 7 o'clock to bring you the news of what's gone on, the headlines shaping Meridian. Join us, won't you? Live at 7 o'clock with Scotty Ray Report.